So the other day I was out shopping and I saw this stuff on the shelf. It's called Bacon Up and it's just bacon grease rendered in bacon fat, but it's made in the USA. And on the back I zoned out basically every word except this one right here, oil. So I ended up buying every single one on the shelf. This is my 1997 Honda Civic. It burns oil, leaks oil, makes some disturbing noises sometimes, and I'm pretty sure the engine has kind of accepted death at this point. And now I know that nobody's asked for this, but can you run an engine off Bacon Up? So let's see what happens when you run your engine on bacon grease. Oh boy, times are tough. Now I bought every single container they had at the store. These are only 14-ounce containers, but thankfully they had 8 of them, and 14 ounces times 8 gets us pretty close to 3.5 quarts, which that Honda Civic actually takes. Now, being it's bacon grease and it's now cold, it's gonna be solidified, guaranteed. Let's take a peek at this. Oh, it's in the container. So as you can see, it's just pure lard. Sick. Now, obviously, we can't just put this in the engine because if the engine's cold and this is cold, how is it gonna circulate through the engine? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat all of this up in this container right here, which means we're gonna have to warm up the engine in the car because if we put hot stuff on a cold engine, it might just solidify it too. So I'm gonna warm the car up, and then I'm gonna warm the bacon up. And then I think we'll be good to put it into the engine. So here's the current state of this Civic. That don't sound good. And just look at how much this thing actually smokes. Now here's another silly fact that nobody's gonna care to even wanna know about, but each container has 30 servings, 130 calories per serving, which means we have a total of 31,200 calories this Civic is about to consume. I don't know why that's interesting to me, but it is. All right, in we go. Sick. There you have it. That's what 3.5 quarts of solidified bacon grease looks like. Now we gotta heat it up. Stuff unsolidified and get it warmed up here. Currently at 195 degrees on the engine, so we're nice and warm there. And our new engine oil is warming up. We're at about 120 degrees where it's nice and red. Once this turns back into a liquid, we'll be good to go. And not that it's really gonna matter, but I gotta know what the difference of oil pressure really is going to be when we put bacon grease into this engine. So let's get a before and after just for the heck of it and see what we're at. A little bit over like 60 PSI right now, and the engine is warm. Old oil coming out. All right, and just for comparison measures, let's just see how this stuff quantifies up with the same temperature. So this one's currently at about 137 for the Bacon Up and about 120 degrees in the old engine oil. And just for comparisons, let's just see what it looks like pouring this stuff out. That's engine oil. And now we have our Bacon Up, which is kind of flowing about the same. All right, and believe it or not, this is actually like really slippery. This is identical. This is gonna work great. I know it is. All right, someone say this is finger licking good. So 3.5 quarts of fresh Bacon Up going into the engine. All right, well, bottoms up. Smells like breakfast. Even got some bacon bits in the bottom of the pan. All right, we're still at like 70 PSI with the thing running. Oh, no way. I guarantee it's gonna start smelling like bacon when it's smoking outside. All right, guys, well, it's running. So, I mean, it's running good, actually. It's doing its typical Honda idle surge here, as you can see. But we can rev it up. Oh. It smells like bacon grease. It's burning out the exhaust right now. Oh, this is amazing. Let's take it to my trail track here and see how it does and see if it doesn't blow up. like still like 25 PSI. It keeps doing the idle surge thing, but 25 is probably where we're at. But look at it, it's still running like a champ. I don't hear any engine knock or nothing. It sounds really good. Oh man, how is this working? Alright guys, so to put it in perspective, I have about 6 miles of hard runtime on this. As you can see right here, that's almost 6 miles. And it's still been idling, running. We've got, we still got about a half tank of gas in this thing. And so I thought it was gonna blow up by now, to be honest. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep running it until something happens. And if something doesn't happen, then we'll have to reassess. So I guess time for some more donuts. This is the hottest it's been yet. We're right at super, super hot temperature. All right, let's let her cool down for a second here. So if you guys were wondering how hot I got this engine, just take a peek here and look at this fan right here. It's getting so hot, it's bubbling.
How does that even happen?
Because
it looks
baking
like
up and heat. That's what happened. Unexpected results. I for sure thought this was going to blow the engine up. It's been like over an hour of just nonstop high revving, beating on this thing. It overheated like 3 dozen times, and we just let it cool down, and it just comes right out of it, quits smoking, and then we just go right back into doing the donuts, and it's still working. So I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take it back to the shop. We'll just tear off the valve cover and just take a peek at it, because I don't really have another option. I thought for sure it was going to throw a rod out or start knocking or doing something, and it has done none of that. So I'm gonna go grab my bumper and let's go back to the shop. Dude, it smells like straight up bacon. All right, currently this engine is still at about 130, 140 degrees, as you can see from the temp gun. As you can see, all the bacon grease is still almost in oil form, and it hasn't turned into a big solid chunk of lard yet. But as you can see too, there's not a lot of wear on anything. You can see the cam right between those valve springs right there. That all looks really nice and healthy still there too. So I'm not seeing any big chunks or any wear on the top side of this engine. It's all looking really good. And I'm kind of dumbfounded with this. I thought for sure we were going to see issues, and that's just simply not the case yet. So I got the spark plugs out. I didn't show it before. These things were like getting oil consumption, you know, like it was a little wet before. Now we're not seeing that. Granted, I was, you know, had it at high RPMs for an hour, so probably just burned up some of that stuff, but look at these plugs. It doesn't look terrible at all. This engine does burn a little bit of oil. But for the heck of it, let's just check the engine compression as well and just see what we have for compression numbers, because I'm curious. Kind of wish I would have taken it before, because I didn't think this engine was going to last this long, and it's lasting a lot longer than I thought. We're at about 155 on cylinder 1. All right, cylinder 2. About 140 on cylinder 2. Cylinder 3. 150 on cylinder 3. And cylinder 4. And we have about a 145 on cylinder 4. All right, let's get a camera down in the top of the cylinders. We'll see the top of the pistons and try to get up at the valves and just see if there's anything noticeable there, because this thing did burn oil prior to this. So maybe this stuff washed away the pistons and maybe they're a little bit cleaner. And let's check the cross hatching on those cylinder walls to see if that's all wiped out from using the bacon grease, which I don't think they will be, but Let's take a look. And now I need to give a big shout out to Tesla. This thing is very, very sweet, and you get a massive display on trying to see things that you wouldn't actually be able to see inside your engine. So what better way to showcase this thing than to actually use it in the field on a baconed up engine. All right, so first up, we are in cylinder number 3 here. And you can see, look at all the stuff sitting on top of that piston. Let me adjust my brightness here on this camera. There's like clear as day bacon grease sitting right on top of the piston right here. But let's get a close look at this cross hatching. But you can see we got pretty good cross hatching on the cylinder wall still. There's a little bit of a line here. I don't know if that's pretty microscopic, however. And you can see the valves, all that stuff looks pretty good. Definitely got some bacon grease sitting on top of the cylinder head now. But overall, that's looking pretty good, other than this bacon grease sitting right on top of the piston right here. Let's take a peek at another cylinder. Yeah, and same thing with cylinder 2. It's a little bit damp on top there. So we're definitely burning oil. I don't know if that's coming from the piston rings or valve stem seals or what, but oil is definitely getting in there. Got a little bit of carbon on the valve seats there, not terrible. But overall, all that stuff's looking pretty good too. So I'm not noticing a whole bunch of wear. I mean, look at the cross hatching on this one. It looks great. So I'm going to have to just write that off as we just got probably worn out rings here or valve stem seals or something. Obviously, the bacon grease leak into this engine. But overall, everything's looking fine. Like I'm not noticing a huge amount of wear that probably wasn't already there in this engine. Let's get underneath and see what it's all about underneath here. We knew this thing was an oil leaker, as you can clearly tell. And it's been leaking oil since we got it in here, and it's on the ground cold. And just check this out, It's starting to coagulate on the ground here. Look at that. That is bacon grease. That turned into goo. Moment of truth getting this oil out. What is this gonna look like? Oh, it's looking clean. It smells like straight up like a hog roast. All right, so I took the oil pan off here, and as you can see, it doesn't look terrible up there. I think what we're gonna try to do is pop one of these bearing caps off just to get a good visual at this bearing, and maybe that will tell us if we can see some abnormal wear from the old bacon up running through these veins, if you know what I'm saying. And if you look here on the oil pan, we actually have some metal stuff going on here. You can see there's some copper metal all along this oil pan. So that is not a good sign. I don't think that was there before. At least I hope it wasn't, because I wanted to see some wear. Let me try to pour this all into one container here. This is the big metallic-y part, copper metallic. So I'm presuming there's probably like a bearing or something that's gotta be failing. You can see it's nice and sparkly in here now. Oh man, that is glitter-esque. Well, let's pull a cap off and see what it looks like on a bearing now. Managed to get the bearing out. You can see the journal right here on the crank. And that doesn't look terrible. A couple little lines, but doesn't look like it's worn out or oblong or anything. But we finally are seeing some wear patterns on these bearings. Now, I don't know if this was done prior or not. You got right here, you can get a little bit of a ridge right here we're catching on there. So you kind of wiped it down like that. And then right here as well, you can start to see that copper. So we're definitely experiencing some wear, and rightfully so. After an hour of rev limiter with bacon grease, I would expect to see something like this. Actually, I thought I was going to see something a lot worse, like one of these outside of the block. Okay, and I managed to get back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is like, I'll give it a half. If you mix these two, for some reason I have it in 2. But I recovered 5.5 things of bacon up back, which means we leaked or burned about 2.5 containers of bacon up through this engine within a like hour and a half of just wide open throttle, 7,000 RPMs nonstop. And now I almost have to save this just for some future projects, right? Well, guys, this was not the outcome that I was expecting. Prior to making this video, when I saw this stuff and I had the concept to do it, I was thinking in my head, great, I'll put it in there, I'll just beat the heck out of the car, and guaranteed we'll spin a rod bearing or something like that of that nature, right? And either A, we'll shoot a rod out the side of the block, or it'll make so much knocking noise that it'll just be telltale time to just give up on it and let it die. And then I was going to take the engine out and then tear it down to see what failed first and how much carnage the bacon grease destroyed on the engine, which only to find out, obviously, like you guys saw, I was able to just keep pounding the daylights out of this thing, and I really don't have much wear. Even those bearings that I took off, that could have been prior wear to something. I'm not sure. The story I got on this thing was the engine had been rebuilt at one point. And what I see, it might have just had like a head gasket or something put in and maybe some reseal and stuff. But it did burn oil prior to this. That's why I didn't really bother on the compression check in the beginning. I didn't think it was that important, but now I kind of wish I would have done that so I had some comparison charts just to see where we ended up here. But yeah, not in a million years did I think that using an animal product, pork, lard from a pig, was going to be an engine oil substitute and actually work in a combustion chambered engine. Now, to be fair, I did use Bacon Up, which would be considered a premium pork-based lubricant for your engine. And now that I think of it, I might have just made the world's first internal combustion breakfast. So yeah, I genuinely thought the end of this video was going to be a blown up engine, which obviously bacon grease was no match for it. It worked just fine. Now I got some ideas floating in the mind of what I can do next to try and destroy the engine of this thing rather than just run it out of oil. Let's do something unique. But if you guys can think of something too that might be worth trying to this, that might just see a very, very bad thing happen to this engine, feel free to put it in the comments and maybe we can actually make a video using whatever you guys suggest to try to destroy the engine. But there you have it. Bacon Up actually works as an engine lubricant. I don't know how well it would work if it cools off and becomes a solid again. You're probably screwed at that point. But if you had it heated up and was able to put it in your engine, it works. Again, stay tuned. This engine will be saying bye-bye eventually.